inauguration by the National Assembly. In accordance with the provisions of the Section 86 of the Constitution, the National Assembly duly elected His Excellency Mr. Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa as the President-elect of the 7th Administration of the Republic of South Africa on Friday, the 14th June 2024. Consequently, the provisions of Section 87, as articulated earlier, kick in, and the President of South Africa must accordingly be inaugurated on Wednesday, the 19th June 2024. Who are in the inauguration preparatory team? President had on the 2nd of February 2024 appointed an interministerial committee, which we call the IMC, to prepare for the inauguration of the President. This interministerial committee is constituted by the following ministers: Minister in the Presidency, who is the chairperson, Minister of Communications and Digital Technologies, Minister of Defense and Military Veterans, Minister of Finance, Minister of Health, Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Minister of Police, Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure, Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, Minister of Home Affairs, Minister of Transport, and Minister of Public Enterprises, for enhanced and proper coordination with other institutions that play a critical role in the process of election and inauguration of the President. The chairperson of the IMC extended the invitations to participate in the IMC to the Office of the Chief Justice, the Speaker of the National Assembly, and the chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, the premiers of the provinces of Gauteng, Limpopo, Mpumalanga, Northwest, and the Free State, which are the host and the feeder provinces, and the cities of Tshwane, which is the capital, the city of Johannesburg and Ekurhuleni as the capital and co-hosting cities. The IMC is supported by the Integrated Planning Committee, which we commonly call the IPC, constituted by the Directors General and the administrative heads of other participating institutions and city managers who work on the technical and operational details of the preparations. The IPC is chaired by the Director General of the Republic, who is supported by the Chief Operations Officer of the Presidency. What are the inauguration details? The inauguration of the President of the 7th Administration of South Africa will take place on this Wednesday, 19th June 2024, at the Union Buildings in Pretoria in the city of Tshwane. The President-elect will be sworn in by the Chief Justice of the Republic of South Africa, Justice Raymond Zondo, and he will take an oath of affirmation, which text is included in Schedule 2 of our Constitution. The ceremony will be staged in the Union Buildings Amphitheatre and its South Lawns. The amphitheatre will host national and foreign dignitaries, including heads of state and government. Preparations have been made for South Africans to participate in the inauguration ceremony from the Union Buildings South Lawns. The ceremony will commence with an entertainment program at 900 hours, or 9 a.m., and the formal proceedings are scheduled to commence at 1100 hours or 11 a.m. The South African National Defence Force will perform the ceremonial elements of the inauguration as they pledge their allegiance to both the Republic and the Commander-in-Chief. The ceremonial elements will include, amongst others, a 21-gun salute, a salute flight by the South African Air Force, the inspection of the South African National Defence Force battalions, a battalion march past, and a mast fly past, which will include the South African Airways. The newly sworn-in President of the Republic will deliver his inaugural address. The cultural program. A cultural program will be hosted on the South Lawns of the Union Buildings, and it will take place before the formal inauguration ceremony commences. The cultural program is a platform for local artists to showcase their talent and for us as a nation to share our cultural diversity with our guests. This production will feature a combination of music genres and other cultural and artistic performances that will have a crossover appeal that reflects our achievements in the past 30 years of our democracy. Members of the public attending the occasion are also advised that the following items are forbidden at the event, including at the South Lawns. That is alcohol and drugs, firearms or weapons or any weapons, bottles or cans. Road closures. There will be no private vehicles access to the union buildings or the area immediately surrounding the venue. Tshwane Metropolis will effect road closures in and around the union buildings precinct. Residents in the streets affected by these closures will be alerted on how they will access various exits and entrances. Information on these closures will be shared widely following this briefing and will be available on various government websites, including the Government Communication and Information System, GCIS, government website, which is gcis.gov.za. Logistics for the media. Members of the media will be transported from Rittondale Park and Ride, and buses will leave at 400 hours or 4 a.m. Due to space limitations, only 100 members of the media will be accommodated at the Nelson Mandela Amphitheatre. A list of selected media is published on the website of the GCIS. A media center will be established at the South Lawns, which will provide sound and television feed to all media. Buses will shuttle media to both the union buildings and the South Lawns, respectively. No media vehicles will be allowed to drive to the union buildings precinct. The GCIS will open for media accreditation today and will communicate further in the arrangements at a technical media briefing to be held at a later date. The meaning of the inauguration. The presidential inauguration is an important feature in a year in which South Africa is marking 30 years of freedom under the theme 30 Years of Democracy, Partnership and Growth, which is also the theme of the inauguration. The inauguration will bring together South Africans from all backgrounds, all walks of life, and political orientation, united in our diversity. It offers us an occasion to celebrate our democratic values and system of governance, including the agreed commitment of our body politic that the seventh administration, will be the one led by a government of national unity. The theme brings perspective to our past and the road of progress that we have traveled since 1994, when Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela took his oath of office at the Union Buildings on the 10th of May, 1994, as our first democratically elected president. The theme for the inauguration of 2024 conveys the need for all South Africans and our partners to work together to sustain democracy, partnership and growth in our society. It emphasizes the need to build on our achievements since 1994, leverage on our experiences of the past 30 years, and commit to work together to address the remaining challenges of poverty, inequality and unemployment that still face our country. The occasion itself takes the form of a formal ceremony to mark the beginning of the President's term of office. What are the roles or the role of law enforcement agencies? The JCPS Ministers Cluster, supported by NetJoints, and the law enforcement agencies are fully deployed to continue to ensure safety and security of all South Africans and our guests on the day and throughout the post-election phase of the country. As demonstrated in action, our law enforcement agencies have the capacity and capability to keep South Africa safe and stable, and no amount of veiled threats of instability should intimidate any South African. As we make a call to action, government would like to encourage all South Africans to be part of this momentous occasion in our country. Those who cannot attend are encouraged to follow proceedings on their television screens and their radio sets. Government therefore calls on all South Africans to take a few hours out of their time on Wednesday, the 19th June, to devote attention to this special occasion, and especially to encourage children and young people to observe this event as part of building social cohesion and developing appreciation for what makes us special as a nation. Finally, we wish to highlight that the inauguration takes place in our annual National Youth Month, which is dedicated to young South Africans and our efforts to build a better future with them, and also to remember the sacrifices made by the youth of this country, from the youth of 1944 and the youth of 1976 and the other generations of young people. Tomorrow is Youth Day, and the national celebrations are held in Limpopo. And it is a day that for the Tinswalos and their parents to commit themselves to play an active part in the next part of our country's journey, in which will be led by the 7th administration. And we wish you a happy Youth Day in advance, and we wish you a prosperous South Africa as we start our journey to the next 30 years. Thank you.